Guys, welcome to day 3 of the Awaken Man Breakthrough Week. First and foremost, thank you so much for following along. Whether you're following along live and you're in the room right now, or you've been catching up on the recordings, or you're watching this as a recorded training later on, thank you so much for giving us the most valuable asset you have, which is your attention. And if you were on yesterday's reactive break discipline session, you'll know it's such an important asset, and it's a weapon that's your Part X uses against you. And when we've been going through the last few days, we've had guys reach out and they've said to us, how do we join? How do we get involved? What's the next steps? And before you've seen shares on today's session, which is expansive discipline, I'm going to give you an invitation to come and join us and expand your life. I'm going to go through exactly how we work. It's like just exactly what our programs entail, and how you can make the most of our support, and how we can help you on your heroic journey or your Awaken Man journey. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through just a simple offer document, which I will then give Ali, and he will put it in the chat, and he'll put it in the WhatsApp group as well, and I will email to you. I will send it via smoke signals, carrier pigeons, and creative dance too, for those of you guys who communicate by expressionist dance. But guys, honestly, what I want to share with you, the two offers that we've got for you are to join our Heroic Man and Awaken Man program. And as I was sharing, just as guys were coming on the call, sometimes we become a little accustomed and almost desensitized to the great work that we're doing with men. And before I share this stuff with you, I just want to share how transformational our programs are, because not only do we offer opportunities for guys to make sense of struggles and challenges and goals and visions that they have, it's also an opportunity to get around other men who are crushing it every single day. And they go through the trials, the tribulations, and the temptations that arise with their own heroic journey. And what we've done is we've made an opportunity for you to either go a mile deep, go really, really deep with us and actually come into the mastermind and apply to come and join that. Or we've also got Heroic Man, which is super accessible. So let me just jump on in and share my screen. I'll just make sure, 2 seconds, guys. I might have the old presentation up there. 2 seconds, this one here. Okay. Can you all see a Google Doc with the words breakthrough offer on there? Just give me a yes in the chat if you can, just to help me. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Thank you, guys. Really appreciate that. Okay. So we've got a special offer for Breakthrough Week. Every time we do a Breakthrough Week, we want to make it as easy as possible, as simple as possible for you guys to join, make sense of it as well. We have 2 programs that we run. We have the Awaken Man. We created Awaken Man 2 years ago, and it was largely about creating a high-performing men's group where guys can come every single day. Now, this is something that we wanted to create what we call the blue ocean with. Instead of giving you less time, instead of making it so you get 1 call a week, we wanted to make it so guys could get all the support they need. There's 3 mentoring sessions per week. So you're seeing myself or Pete will give you a mentoring session, largely like the ones that you've been enjoying the last couple of days. So then on the Thursday and Friday, we actually have coaching. We have coaching and we have therapeutic style deep coaching as well on the Friday. And that, what it means is you're getting your mentoring, your coaching, your deep work all done together on a call. And this is what we like to say, our mile deep program. You really get a lot of support from myself, Pete, Yassine, and the team. And you also get a one-to-one call with me at the start. Now that one-to-one, I can honestly say I've helped guys exponentially shift their business in just 90 minutes. Now that's because I can spend some time with you, get some real good clarity on what are I would say the levers that can make big changes. Okay. And then also you get a daily commitment. So it's actually, you're on it with us daily, Monday through Friday, of course, family on the weekends. We've also got Heroic Man. Now, Heroic Man we created because we wanted to give 15-minute mentoring calls, which are super easy for men to stick in their day. Yeah. And what we do is we have a 15-minute conversation Monday through Friday, and we get guys to share in our private men's heroic group where they can just talk through what's come up for them. And honestly, having worked with Yassine for 2.5 years, he's taught me stuff that I literally never even knew that I needed to know. And this is what's happening on these daily calls is guys are exploring this idea of becoming anti-fragile, of being truly mastering your mind. And I can attest that I wish I would have had this stuff 10, 15 years ago, but even better, I've got it now when I'm a dad and I'm creating a 7-8 figure business. And it's been so influential in my life, and I want to share that with you. You equally get access to our Awakened 8 personal performance program. It's a really simple way to get a checklist, to get your habits and structure in place. It works really, really powerfully. And guys have used that to just get their structure in place. And the daily commitment with Heroic is to becoming a heroic man. Now, the difference between the programs here is a year with the Awakened Man is 10,000. A year with Heroic Man is 950. Okay. And they have got payment options. So what we wanted to do is give you opportunities to take action on that today. Now, what we're doing at the end of July, we've realized, we sat down, Pete and I, enormously qualified to help you with a body transformation. And it's something that we really wanted to bring together, especially in line with this discipline week, because personally training someone, getting structure around the most important thing, eating, moving, and sleeping, is going to help you enormously. So at the end of July, we're launching what's called the Transformation. Okay, so we're going to be helping you with the man, the mind, and the muscle. So what we're going to do on that program is help you with a personalized training system, macro management, so help you with your food, and we're actually going to help you with your body transformation. So we're going to actually help you stay on track, stay focused, because ultimately a program that is 80% great and done all the time is better than a perfect program that's not executed at all. So it's literally making the tiny adjustments every single week that will get you results. I did 10, 15 years of that at Fast Way to Fitness. We're world class at doing that. And that's going to be $2,000 when we launch it. So there are offers. Now, what I wanted to do is give you an opportunity, because success rewards speed. And today's conversation is about expansive discipline. It's the ability to take risk and also to choose that uncomfortable decision. And this is an uncomfortable decision for some of you. It might be an easy decision, but it also might be uncomfortable. It's like, hang on a second, I really want to do this. So if you join Awaken Man today, you can join for 8,000 and you get the Transformation with 2,000, because we wanted to give you an opportunity to just work on the man and work on the muscle. All right. And then equally, we've got, if you join Heroic Man today, and you'll also get the Transformation for £1,500. So you're literally paying about £500 for 6 months worth of personalized training, nutrition, support, and stuff like that. So what you're going to get, guys, is this document to peruse, make a decision on. And what I've asked, what I'm asking you kindly as well, is you might be like, hang on a second, this is for me. I know that I've really enjoyed spending time with these guys. They're straight shooters. They really have got my best interests at heart, which we absolutely have. We want to support you and guide you and help you achieve the results which we see every fucking day. And I hand on heart say that every day. And the Awaken men on the call, can you just also attest to that? Can we just say, yeah, this actually happens every freaking day? Guys are putting things in the chat, in the WhatsApp group, on school. My life is exponentially shifting as a result of sitting every day, listening, taking big actions, being disciplined, and having hard conversations, all the things that we teach in AMP. And that's happening every single day. So Luke, thank you. Well, the $5 is in the post. I've created £140,000 as a direct result of my last 2.5 years in Awaken Man. I couldn't have gone any better. I just literally, I didn't even pay him to say that. Oh, that's a hell of a testimonial. James Stevenson, yes, they show the fuck up. Best group I've ever been part of. Thank you, Jim. And honestly, it's made by men like you being in the group and showing up as you do. Spencer, yeah, hand on heart. This group is life-changing. So guys, the results speak for themselves. Feel free to read through those. And what I wanted to sort of share, guys, if you are interested, and I had this in my personal training business, some people would come in looking for personal training when they needed a fitness camp. So if you are like, I want in, but I'm not sure which one between the two, and you are like, right, I want to start, just book a conversation with Pete and for 15 minutes and he'll help you decide which is the best fit for you. Yeah, a super simple little 15-minute conversation. And that is for if you are interested in moving forwards, team. Yeah, it's not a sales conversation. It's just I really want to move forward. I really want your help, but I can't work out which one. But equally, you might be a man who's like super decisive. You're going to take action. You're like, I'm going to do that one. So Ali, if you could put that in the comments so the guys have got it on a PDF. Equally, this is available. So the offer is just today. Okay, guys, you'll get the transformation as part of Heroic and the AMP if you buy today, by close of play today. Okay, because success loves speed, and like we can't speak about expansive discipline without giving you a great offer, a no-brainer to come and join the team, guys. But just wanted to make sure that you knew as well. If you're like, hang on a second, I've got a personal trainer, I want to come in, I don't need the transformation, there is an opportunity to join Heroic Man for $950 there as well, because it's a phenomenal mindset program in itself. Okay, so we made it super easy for you to join. Ali, is that in the chat? Ali will put that in the chat. Yeah, Mike's a no-brainer. I think we should literally write these up in we'll screenshot all these testimonials. Thank you, man. Thank you for your support. You know, I really am touched by that. There we go. Touched by Mike Fan. Thank you, man. Let me just jump in here and share my screen so we can get into today's conversation with Yassine, who's in fine voice. There we go. Yassine, you good to go? Do I need to unmute you? That's power.
Sure, Benjamin.
There you go.
There what goes.
There we go.
Okay, people. Firstly, my voice is gone, so this might be a bit painful for some of you. Sorry, guys. I have a bit of a flu, cold, something. Benjamin, what are we speaking about?
We're speaking about expansive discipline. Actually, it's actually something that I've learned largely from you. Like I've learned so much about this part of the discipline trifecta from being around you and being mentored by you. So I think you're perfectly qualified to be teaching this today, Yassine. I'll put your slide up actually. There you go. Do you want to just give the guys a quick intro?
What should I intro about, Benjamin? Okay, guys.
Yeah, come on.
Before Benjamin Owen starts splashing again. So for those of you who don't know me, I started the Awakened Man, and was this 5 years ago? I was in the midst of doing my PhD in psychology with a focus on sports and peak performance psychology. But what I realized doing that and working with patients and clients was that the majority of my patients, and I'm not going to use the word patients, it's outdated. The majority of my clients that came to see me, right, were mostly men, and these weren't men with psychopathological disorders. They were highly functioning men. So guys who were executives at Fortune 50, Fortune 100 companies, people, vice presidents at companies like Starbucks, H&M, Johnson and Johnson, Kellogg's, Microsoft, right? Pro athletes. Some of you might even know people who play in the Premier League, South African cricket players, rugby players, etc., right? And the one thing I realized is that yes, on the face of it, they all look like. You looked at them and you said, "Wow, look at him! He's a fucking high performing individual. He's won awards as a sports person. He's won medals. He leads a multi-billion-dollar company, right? And yet the thing was, all of these people, I was seeing them in a therapeutic practice because they were fucking miserable as hell for whatever reason, right? Their lives were totally out of whack. Some of them were doing well financially. Their relationships sucked. Some of them, their relationships were great. Something else sucked, right? And then a lot of them were just fucking depressed, right? And again, it wasn't even clinical depression, right? Something where you would put them on medication. It was just that a lot of them had come to this point in their lives where they gotten got into the space. They realized, well, you know, I've climbed the ladder to success, and when they got to the top, realized, holy fuck, um, I've climbed the wrong wall, right? And I was having a conversation with with regards to the direction of my PhD research, and my coach, my therapy supervisor, as well as a friend of mine, he now said to me, you know what, right now, right, more than ever, there is a fucking huge need, right, for men, right, to get help. And guys, it's true. If you look at the statistics, as men, right, we 3 times more likely to be clinically depressed. We 3 times more likely, or 4 times more likely to have suicidal ideation, right, which is either we've thought about killing ourselves, or we've actually tried that, right? Like as a whole, man as a whole, right? We fucking alone all of the time. Yes, we have friends, but we don't have anyone to turn to, right? Our relationships, we're present, but we're not there, right? For our kids, for our spouses, for our partners, for the people around us, right? And honestly, it's a fucking it's not even an endemic. It's a fucking if COVID was a pandemic, right? Then as men we are in a fucking pandemic, right? Of a critical nature, right? And so when I started the Awakened Man, it was meant to be um well, I should say Leon Benjamin's in the call. And Leon was actually the guy who inspired me. I messaged him one day. I said, Leon, here's 3 or 4 names to go for movement, for a group of men, right? What do you think? And so Leon was like, Awakened Man. So that's where we got the name from. But beyond that, guys, the when I created the Awakened Man, it was literally to create a safe space, right, for men to be able to talk about the stuff that for whatever reason, right, we can't talk to other people, right? Our spouses don't understand what we're going through. Our parents don't. Our siblings don't. And I know personally for myself, right? In my career, I've done some fucking amazing things. Apart from my PhD, I've started and grown a business that does 9 figures now. I've also co-ran a billion, $3 billion division of a $10 billion company, right? I've literally led. I had a senior leadership role where I was responsible for over 40,000 people, right? And I know myself in 2011, 2011, I had a catastrophic brain, and I don't talk about this, but I had a catastrophic brain injury, right? Um, and the fucking nerves in my head were significantly damaged, right? And as part of that, my neurologist said to me, well, we don't know what to do, so what we're going to do is we're going to put you onto an antidepressant, right? To see whether it can temper the effects of your nerve damage. Didn't work. Neurologist then said to me, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to put you um, onto a experimental drug for people with seizures called Lyrica. What he didn't tell me was that Lyrica in he has a fucking shit ton of side effects, including suicidal ideation, clinical depression. You put on like a shit ton of weight, your vision doubles, your feet start to swell, right? And yeah, I was someone I already had a master's degree in psychology, right? I was fucking highly, I was a high performer, right? I had a master's in psychology, I had a master's in law. I've been to law school. Got a law degree, went to university again, became a psychologist. Right. I started growing a multi-million company. I at that point I was the head of HR for some of the world's largest brands. Right. And uh, it, in that right in that period where I was fucking all of a sudden I went from being a fucking high performer to literally right having my entire world turn upside down. Right. And I know personally for myself. Right. People around me, my best friends, my brother, right, family said to me, well, what the fuck's wrong with you? Like, just get over yourself. There's nothing wrong with you. Why are you depressed? Why are you anxious? Right? Look at you. You have a fucking a wife that's a 9 or 10 on the scale, right? You live in a big house overlooking the ocean, right? You make more money than most people. You make more money in a year than most people make in a lifetime. Well, just get over yourself, right? What do you have to feel sad about? That doesn't make sense to you. And it made me realize that for all of us, even for men like me, right, who literally have a great circle of support, right? The people, the men are even men around us don't always understand what the fuck we're going through. And so when for the Awakened Man, it was literally right to create that space that I know myself. That I know, right, when I needed it the most. There wasn't one like that, right? And so it was to create that space for men to be able to share, and whatever the fuck is affecting us, whether you feel sad, depressed, whether you have things to share, wins to share, losses to share. And the other thing, it literally is, right, to help men, right, to unfuck themselves. In a way, we all are fucked in a way. Some of us to a greater degree, and some of us to a lesser degree, right? And also, right, uh, to help us as men to live fucking heroic lives, right? And it's Abraham Maslow, right, who's a role model for me, said Maslow said that at any given time there's two versions of us that exist as men, right? There's a version of me that I'm currently being, and the version of me that I'm meant to be, right? And so Maslow said that as long as there's a gap between those two things, right, that's where depression and anxiety and regret exist, right? Do you see that I get up in the morning and I look at my life and I say, well, you know what, this is where I am. Well, but I also know there's more to what my life could be, right? And then I compare those two things, and in between those two things, right? If there's a gap in those two things, guess what? I look back at my life and the actions I've taken, the mistakes I've made, and the decision I'm making. I start regretting my past, right? Then I get anxious about my future, and guess what? Fuck, I'm in the fucking middle of being depressed, right? And so that's the one thing Maslow said. The other thing he said was, and uh, most of us know Maslow for his hierarchy of needs, but but what he said was, more importantly, he was said that in any given, Maslow said that in any given moment, right? And it comes to this idea of expensive choice. Maslow said in any given moment, right? We all have a choice, right? Either, right, I can step forward into growth, or I can step backwards into mediocrity. Let me repeat this for you guys, right? So Maslow said that in any given moment, right, I have a choice, moment to moment to moment, right? Do you guys see that as humans, right? We fucking mortal, the day when I had my fucking catastrophic brain injury, right, it made me realize, right, that life is fucking finite. You literally could be dead in the next one, and that's what Leslie was talking about. That all you have, right? We don't have 10 years, 15 years, 10 weeks. I can't put off something till next week, next month, next year, 2 years down the line, right? But in this moment, right, I have a choice, moment to moment to moment, right? I have a choice. Either I'm stepping forward into my growth, right, or I'm stepping backwards, right, into a life of mediocrity. Does this make sense to you guys? Any questions, Benjamin?
No, I can just attest to that. This was probably one of the most transformational insights that I had when we started working together. It was just like, I was the same. I was a high performing guy, and then all of a sudden I started making these just like super comfortable decisions, and I turned around and I was like, I'm not fucking comfortable. I'm really uncomfortable. I'm I'm not performing at the level I know I'm capable of. My finances don't look how I feel that they could be, and I'm a very qualified, very articulate guy, and I'm not where I want to be. And that gap was where a lot of the frustration lay for me as a man. And I think that's what I think a lot of men, even on the call, if you're experiencing the same sort of thing, I'd invite you to put in the chat right now, like I'm there. Like, that's what I think that was really, like, I wasn't depressed. I don't think I was depressed, but I knew that there was a gap, and I couldn't find a place to close that gap. I tried coaching, I went on retreats, and yeah, I just needed that opportunity to close that gap. And I think a lot of men do that. And like, we talk about things like hard conversations on Awaken Man, and we know there's always a hard conversation that we need to have, or we know that there's an awkward decision that's going to be tough in our business or in our relationships, and we're putting off having it. And the longer, I think that something that you said last year, you're seeing was like, fear feasts on time. Fear feasts on time. And like, I have this decision that I know I need to make, or I know I want to create, but I'm going to give it loads of time to fester. And I was doing that. I really like kind of attest to being there as a guy and actually leading the Awaken Man alongside Pete. And you're seeing it. I'm forced to take uncomfortable decisions way faster because I've got guys around me, and also the clients, the guys like Mike Farn and Luke, and guys who are on the calls every day. They see something, they have an insight, and they go and take the action. So there's very little time between them realizing that they need to make that expansive decision and go and making it. And that's the culture that we've created.
Can I share on this, Ben?
Can we have some sharing, Yassine?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Luke, go for it, man.
Yeah, I can just really relate. Like when you called me when you first started the Awakened Man 2.5 years ago, like it wasn't like I was broken, and it wasn't like I had a successful business. From the outside, I had a family, I had my health, and it's like, but something was missing. It was like I don't know what it is. So I came on the Awakened Man to like figure out what it was, like what I realized quite quickly what it was. It's like I had just had so much more to give to the world, and like we figured out like, well, what does that look like? For me, it ended up being coaching, but that just really speaks to me. Really. This thing of like, what's missing? Like, I know I can be more, and we can always be more every time, but that it just allowed me to figure out what that looked like, and then obviously you guys helped me take action on it and go into fear every day to push it forward. But yeah, it just really relates to what Yassine's saying.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, buddy. Luke is the poster man for looking at what he's fearful of and taking action. So thank you for sharing that. Back to you, Yassine.
Okay, people. So over the last 2 days, I'm pretty sure Benjamin and Peter have spoken about discipline, right? And reactive instructional discipline, and so I'm just going to touch on those two things quickly, right? But from a neuroscience and peak performance psychology point of view, right? And there's a couple of things. The first thing is just to is first to recall and remember that there's men, right? And that two things, right? The worse I feel, right, the more committed I need to be to my protocol, right? And also, right, the better I feel, right, the more committed I need to be to my protocol. Can I repeat this for you guys? That in order to be a fucking awakened man, right, in order to close the gap between who I'm currently being and who I'm meant to be, right, in order to be the type of man, right, who's a fucking role model for other men, right? There's two things that I need to have, right? Is the basis for my life. The number one is this idea that the worse I feel, right, the more committed I am to my fucking protocol, right? And the second one is that even the better I feel, right, the more committed I am to that protocol. Does it make sense to you guys? Do you guys see that so some of us, right, what we do is when I'm feeling down, right, I'll say, well, you know what? I'm going to be fucking committed to my protocol. I'm going to eat better. I'm going to work out. I'm going to drink more water. I'm going to sleep better. I'm going to do work, right? And then guess what happens, right? Then we get out of that, right? And it's like I feel slightly better, right? And then guess what? Right, I go back to fucking procrastinating. Right, I go back to self-sabotaging. I go back to jerking off to porn. I go back to doom scrolling Facebook and Instagram. I go back to doing weed or whatever the fuck it is. Right, that caused me to down in the first place. Right, and so the thing is, we need to remember that the worse I feel, absolutely, the more committed I am to my protocol. Right, and also the better I feel. Right, it's when I feel better, then even more than ever. Right, I need to be committed to that protocol, right? And again, right, what we want to do is we want to take an iron, right, to those up and down wrinkles. If you think the wrinkles in our lives are like a piece of clothing, right, they have wrinkles, and what we want to do is we want to take an iron, right, and we want to make our highs, right, sustainably higher. And I'm not talking getting high from smoking weed, right, or coke, right, but we want to make our highs sustainably higher than ever, right, before, right, but while we also want to make our lows even higher than ever before. Guys, can I repeat this for you guys? Do you guys see that I want, as men, we want to come to this place where my highs, the things that I chase, right, the things that I say, well, you know what, this is fucking world class for me, this is who I am at my absolute best, right, that has to be fucking high, right, and my lows, right, my lows also need to be fucking high. When people look at me and they see me well at my lowest, right, I'm still fucking higher, right, than the average man, right? And why? Because I want to build a sort of scaffolding, right, so that I never ever plummet into the depths of despair. Does it make sense to you guys? That what I want to do, right, in terms of being disciplined, right, is come to a place where where my highs are sustainably higher, right? Then just about everyone out there, right? And my lows, right, are higher, right? Then the people, right? That we hold up as fucking heroes, right? Then my highs should be my lows should be higher than all of the gurus that other people look up to as heroes. So that people can look at me and say, well, look at him, look at Ben. Ben's a fucking hero in his own life. Ben is the kind of leader that I would like to model, right? And again, right? Do you guys see this? That if I've set for myself this level where my lows are even higher than ever before, right? Then I've literally built myself a scaffolding, right? That even if I do plummet, right? My plummet is never into the depths of despair. That doesn't make sense for you guys. That for most of us as men, our lows are so fucking low, right? That when we do fall off the fucking cliff, right, we're literally tumbling into the abyss of fucking of despair, right? Of anxiety and depression, right? And a whole of bunch of other shit. Whereas, right, if your lows are fucking high, then even if you take a slight tumble, guess what? You're still higher than most other people, right? Then the question then again, right, is how, right? How the fuck do I create a life, right, where my highs are higher than other people, and my lows are lower, my lows are higher than most people, right? And again, it comes to one word, right? Protocol, guys. Let me repeat this for you guys like 10 times if you need this. Protocol, fucking protocol, right? And um, so a psychologist is Ben and Peter might have already discussed, right? We identify three forms of discipline. So number one, quickly, right, is reactive discipline. Number two is structural discipline, and number three is expansive discipline, right? And what we need to do, right, is those three things, right, aren't like different parts of the puzzle. Where today I'm working on or for this week or this month, I'm working on reactive discipline, and the next week I'm working on structural discipline, and then work on expensive discipline, right? What we need to do is we need to work on all three of those forms of discipline at the same time, right? And so with reactive discipline, right, again, it is just what it sounds it is, right? Something fucking triggers me, right? And then the question is, can I step between the stimulus, right, and my normal suboptimal response? Can I repeat this for you guys again? So quickly, with regards to reactive discipline, is it something triggers me, right? I'm sitting, I said to myself, you know what, I'm committed to doing work today. And then all of a sudden, in my fucking head, right, uh, I have a fucking need for fucking dopamine. My brain screamed at me, go fucking, you know what, just, it's okay, fucking, you know what, take 10 minutes to go jerk off to porn, or take 15 minutes to doom scroll Facebook or Instagram or whatever the fuck is, right? Do you guys see that? That's a fucking trigger, right? And in that moment, right, what I need to do is I need to step between the stimulus and my normal suboptimal response. Do you guys see that? For most of us as men, right, our responses, right, are suboptimal, right? And we need to create the discipline, right, to choose a better response, right? Right, again, right, the easiest way to understand this, right, is for us to understand, right, how the fuck can I be proactive, right? And again, guys, take the word responsibility, right? Responsibility literally is made up of two words: response and ability. Can I repeat this for you guys? The word responsibility, we talk about this on Awaken Man and Heroic a shit ton of times. To awaken, right? To become the best version of ourselves, I need to take 100% responsibility for my life, right? And so the word responsibility literally, right, is made up of two words: response and ability, right? Do you see this? That responsibility literally, right, is my ability to choose my response, right? So something happens, right? I don't just react to it unconsciously, right? As a fucking highly effective, proactive person, right? As someone whose fucking highs are higher than everyone else, right? I literally choose my optimal response. Can I repeat this for you guys? That something happens, something triggers me, right? My brain screams at me because I'm fucking addicted to the dopamine high. My brain screams to me, doom scroll Facebook or Instagram. Go onto Instagram and look at pictures of women fucking their thong bikinis. Go into fucking Pornhub, right, and jerk off. Just take a joint, go smoke a joint, right? My brain is screaming that to me, right? And so what they do, it is a person who's fucking highly effective, proactive, right? It's someone whose fucking highs are high and whose lows are fucking higher than everyone else, right? I don't just react to it unconsciously, right? I choose my optimal response, right? And again, right, all of the great wisdom teachers, right, and tradition echo this wisdom, from the Stoics to the Greek philosophers, right, to Buddhism, Judaism, Islam, Christianity, for thousands of years, right? People have literally been telling us the same fucking thing, right? And then again, Viktor Frankl, right? Um, Frankel said that all of us as men, we say, well, I want to be free, right? And Frankel said that the greatest of the human freedoms, right, is that between stimulus and response, that between our stimulus, right, and our response, right, there's a gap, right? So something stimulates me, something fucking triggers me, right? And my response to that stimulus, right? Viktor Frankl said there's a gap, right? And our freedom and our power, right, and our effectiveness as men, right, exists in that gap, right, where I can choose my optimal response to any given stimulus. Guys, can I repeat this for you guys? That Frankel said that between a stimulus and a response, again, as men, right, which is the reason why so many of us are drawn to follow people like Andrew Tate, Jordan Peterson, because what do? They proffer to us, right, that if you follow my way, I can guarantee you freedom. What did Viktor Frankl say? Frankl said, fuck all of that. And here was a guy who fucking spent 5 years in the Nazi concentration camp. He knew more than anyone else, right? What the fuck it means to have your freedom taken away from you. And Frankl said, you know what? Bullshit. The greatest of the human freedoms, right, is not what we consider to be free. Frankl said the greatest of the human freedoms, right, is not to be freed from that concentration camp. For Frankl, the greatest of the human freedoms, right, was to be freed from your mind, right, and from the things that fucking trigger us. So Frankl said that between stimulus and response, there's a fucking gap, right? And our freedom, the greatest of the human freedoms, right, it lies in what? In our power, right? And our power and my effectiveness exists, right, in that gap. Why? Because I can choose at any given time my optimal response, right, to any given stimulus. Does it make sense to you guys? Benjamin, any questions?
Yeah, just a bit triggered by it. It's just to be quite honest, chose a suboptimal response to a conversation with Poppy last night, and I was just I was triggered. There was a stimulus, and my response was not optimal, and I can see that. And what was really great is being able to have the tools to recalibrate the conversation straight afterwards. But yeah, it's something that I noticed that you have to slow down in order to practice this. It's a practice. It's like, I think a lot of guys that we're in so fast, trying to go through things so fast, is that when we slow down and we actually realize this truth, that we do have ownership over our circumstance, over our state, sorry, and we're not a victim of our circumstances, it is life-changing. It is life-changing. This is probably one of the biggest breakthroughs I had personally after 30. It's like, you don't need to be a victim to your thinking. And when you, I think there's a difference between intellectually understanding this and a deep knowing of like, oh shit, actually I'm creating this response to this circumstance that's in front of me. And it's incredibly empowering, because I think what you do is you're claiming something which is your state. And your state is, as we talked about on yesterday's conversation, your state is imperative for you to do great work in the world. So yeah, I think this has been a really great call, and just a reminder that I have a choice in the moments where I get triggered. Guys, feel free to share if there's anything that's coming up for you during this conversation, because I think this is important, not just to be sitting there thinking, sharing and putting some stuff in the chat will be helpful. Can we have one share? You seen? I think it'd be powerful.
Yes,
to have one. Just like guys, anyone noticing something powerful coming up for themselves as they're listening to this? It could be something that's new, it could be something that's insightful. Is it like, do you want to just attest to being a real victim to your thinking for the last couple of months, years, decades, and this is your technically, quote unquote awakening, even being here? Just raise your hand if you do want to share, or go into the chat and just type it out. Chat, you were chatty today, gents. Yeah, courage is contagious.
I'll share Ben on this.
Yeah, please do, Jim.
This is something that, being in the Awakened Man, I've learned so much about, that whole taking responsibility. But I think it's in what I've learned more about is the micro moments, where before it was, the big moments I can take responsibility for, but it's like the moments in the car yesterday, for example, when me and Colleen are going on a date day and I get triggered and then there's an initial reaction, but then it's slowing down. And before I would have carried on the argument, I would have tried to win, and I just took 10 slow breaths, said nothing. And in that moment, I was just saying to myself, I take full responsibility for how this conversation goes now. Like this is either going to end shit or end well, and I take full responsibility for it. And just hearing that was like a reminder of I'm actually doing that now, as opposed to before, I'd have just had this like shitty argument that wouldn't have felt good. It didn't end well, and then I'd have just accepted that that's just what happens in a relationship, and then you get on with it. Whereas now it's like, no, it's my responsibility to slow down and react.
Was there a certain planet in a certain place yesterday then? I think that sounds very similar to mine. At a date night.
It must be the fucking moon. It's not my fault.
It's definitely, yeah. But there's something that Kerry Patterson said in Crucial Conversations, actually. There's like, you got to know the difference between winning the conversation and losing a friend. And I think this is, as men, sometimes we want to win the conversation, and yet we lose the war, really, don't we? Win the battle, but we lose the war. And I think that's something quite powerful, is that when you can notice and you have the, like what you see us talk about there, the reactive discipline to slow down and say, hang on a second, if I try and be right, be the one who wins this conversation, the likelihood is the long game, I'm not going to win. We both lose. So that was quite a powerful insight when I worked with them. You seen them? Pass it back to you.
Guys, just again a reminder, right? That again, none of us are fucking superheroes, right? None of us are born perfect, right? Again, right? Even Maslow said that there's never been perfect people, right? Never will be. Again, right? None of us are perfect, and so what we want to remember is that this idea that when something triggers the shit out of me, right? What do I need to do, right? We need to get to this to create a protocol where I'm working out, right? What I'm in the same way that you go to the gym and work out your muscles, right? We need to work out our responsible muscles. Can I repeat this for you guys? That what we want to do, right, is we want to make this a game, right? So personally for myself, I've made this a game, right? That when I find myself getting challenged by a less than awesome stimulus, right? And for yourself, if you find yourself getting challenged by less than awesome stimulus today, right? Whether that's an employee, a colleague, your boss, your spouse, your partner, your kid, somebody on Benjamin who lives in fucking Dubai, right? And people, I'll tell you, if you live in Dubai or South Africa, people drive like shit, right? And so it's easy to get triggered by a driver on the road, right? Or my kids. Before we got on the call, I said to Ben, why are you speaking to yourself? And he said, well, if your kids just went to your room, you'd also be speaking to yourself or something like that. But again, guys, you see that in any given moment, right, something will fucking trigger us, right? A colleague, a spouse, a kid, a driver on the road, right? And in that moment, right, we need to see if we can step into the gap, right? And choose a better response, right? We need to be proactive, right? We need to be responsible, right? And we need to be fucking effective, right? Do you guys see that again, moment to moment to moment, right? And personally for myself, right? I've gamified this part of my life, right? And for example, right, as a psychologist, right, I understand that guess what, right? Despite what all of the manifestors and self-help gurus will tell you, that all you have to do is if you sit on a fucking mountaintop and manifest, things will go fucking well. Guess what? Right? Viktor Frankl talked about this, right? The Buddha talked about this 2,000 years ago. Jesus talked about this. Muhammad talked about this, right? Every fucking religion talks about this, right? That guess what? Frankl said, if you live long enough, right, as a mature adult, right, life will fucking slap you down. Life will beat the shit out of you. Guess what, guys? Do you guys see that the fact that life will fucking beat the shit out of you, right, is just a fucking part of life. And so the Buddhists talk about this idea that we suffer. Why? We suffer because we attach to this idea that I'm supposed to somehow be happy, that I'm not supposed to suffer, right? And that's our greatest suffering, right? In other faith traditions, right? Whether it's Islam or Judaism, whatever, it's the same concept. That there is no such a thing, right? It is a man who will go through life, right, without suffering. Life is supposed to be. In fact, some of today's modern fourth wave cognitive psychotherapies like acceptance and commitment therapy, right? And neuroscience is about this idea that, guess what? If you live long enough, right, as a fully functioning adult, right, you will suffer, you will experience pain, right? And so then the question is, right, that yes, life is going to fucking constantly challenge us, right? And quite often, right, it will knock us a little off center, right? As I stretch myself, can I repeat this for you guys? That yes, as I stretch myself, right, as I stretch myself past my comfort zone, as I put myself out there, as I take risks, right, as I strive to become the closest gap between who I'm currently being and who I'm meant to be, right? Things will not fucking go all the way I want it to do. Life will fucking challenge me, right? It will knock me off center. It will fucking sometimes will slap me fucking down, right? And the best way to think about this, right, is if you picture a graph, right, and you picture a curve on the graph, right? So the our glitches, right, literally resemble a fish hook shaped curve, right? So imagine a curved line, right, that goes down like a U, then it hits the bottom, right, then curves back up, right, and to the right into an arrow, right? So literally, it's if you draw in a hook, right, on a piece of paper and call it the graph. Do you guys see that is what psychologists call a turnaround, right? And so what we want to do, right, is we need there's a couple of things. Number one is men, right? We need to be able to be willing to tolerate high levels of uncertainty, right? If we want to actualize our potential, guys, can I repeat this for you guys? That if I want to actualize my potential, if I want to become awakened to all that I'm capable of being, right? If I want to close the gap between who I'm currently being and who I'm meant to be, right? Such that I don't have anxiety and regret and depression. Well, again, guess what, right? I need to be willing to tolerate high levels of uncertainty, right? If I want to actualize my potential, right? Do you guys see that true confidence, right? Confidence in my ability, right, isn't about thinking it will always be easy. That's fucking bullshit. If anyone tells you that well, you know what? If you become confident, do you guys see that most of us, we put off doing shit in our lives because I say to myself, well, you know what? I can't do something until I'm confident. And so in order for me to be fucking confident, I need to do blah, blah, blah. I need to do EFT tapping. I need to do self-hypnosis. I need to listen to somebody's bullshit meditation, whatever, right? I need to go sit on a fucking mountaintop and align my chakras, right? And as psychologists, we know that true confidence, right, isn't about thinking it will always be easy. Do you see that true confidence comes from knowing, right, that I'll always have challenges and that I have what it takes to meet each and every challenge. Let me repeat this for you guys. That true confidence, right, comes from knowing, right, that guess what? As a man, I will always fucking have challenges, right? And that personally I have what it takes, right, to meet each and every one of my challenges. Guys, again, in fact, right, as a psychologist, I fucking the guys in Awakened Man and Heroic know I fucking love the etymology of words, right? I'm a word nerd, word geek, something, right? And anyway, the Latin word of the word confidence literally means it. So confidence comes from two words, con plus fidere in Latin, right? And it literally means, right, to have full trust, right? Again, or better, it means to have intense trust, right? And again, the question is intense trust in what, right? Well, guess what? Confidence means literally to have intense trust from the Latin word, right? And it's intense trust, right, in my ability to respond powerfully to each challenge as it arises. Guys, can I repeat this for you guys? The word confidence, right, literally means, right, or well, what it was supposed to mean in its original meaning, what was I have intense trust. Intense trust in what? I have intense trust in my ability to respond fucking powerfully, right, to each challenge as it arises. Do you guys see that we need to know that all of us will have fucking glitches, right? If any of you use Twitter, you know for the last couple of days, both Elon Musk, sorry, Leon Benjamin, I know he's your boss, but Elon Musk and Twitter have been having a fucking full total meltdown, right? With Twitter's rate limits exceeded, right? But do you guys see that that's a computer software developer scholars, computer engineer scholars, a glitch in the system, right? Do you guys see that as people, right, we will all have glitches, right? And the trick is in getting really good at recovering from them. Can I repeat this for you guys? That as men, right, we need to know that at any given time I will have fucking glitches, right? And the trick is in getting really good, right, at recovering from those glitches, right? And as psychologists, we call these, right, collecting turnarounds. I know Benjamin Owens, Guru Phil Stutz also uses the word, right? And do you guys see that you have a glitch, right? So your glitch today is disconnecting you from your higher self. Fine, guess what? It fucking happens. You know what? I just couldn't get over that fucking need to have fucking the dopamine hit, right? And to jerk off the point, it happened. You know what? I got disconnected from my higher self. I say to myself, fine, you know what, it happens, right? Shit happens. Now the question is, how fucking fast can I recover? Guys, can I repeat? Can I elaborate on this? Do you see that most of us, right? A glitch happens, right? We get knocked off. Then what the fuck do we do? Literally everything for the rest of our fucking day is fucking fucked up, right? And on the other hand, fucking real peak performers, right? The best amongst us, right? We say, well, you know what? I have a glitch, right? I got disconnected from my higher self. Fine, you know, shit happens, right? And then the question is, now how fucking fast can I recover, right? How quickly can I regain my connection to my higher self, right? Again, right? I know that two versions of me exist, right? I know what that fucking highest, that best version of me looks like, right? And so I get knocked out, and I say to myself, well, you know what? How fast can I recover? How quickly can I regain my connection to that higher self, right? Do you guys see that? It's literally, right? Then my life literally becomes glitch, I recover fucking quickly. Glitch, I recover fucking quickly. Glitch, I recover fucking quickly, right? And I get really, really good, right, at collecting those turnarounds. I've literally, you fucking gamify your turnarounds. That you make sure that if something knocks you off balance, right? How quickly can I fucking recover? Right? Guys, if you have fun, see how quickly we can turn around the next glitch, right? That we face today. Any questions, Benjamin?
No, I just want to share actually one of the guys that we work with. That was his biggest breakthrough. Like when he first started working with us, I haven't got his permission to share, so I'm not going to use his name, but when he first started with us, he would get a knockback, and he would spend like months, like 2 months, being really like toxic around what happened. That then became a month. That became 2 weeks. That became a week. And then he put in the group, he shared it with the men. Hey guys, just want to let you know, I got super triggered before I went on stage, and I turned this around in like literally in the space of 20 minutes. And I think it was something, I can't remember who said it, but it was like success loves speed, the speed at which you can get up to, the speed at which you can get up after failing, and the speed at which you can repeat the process. And like, I love that. It's like sometimes a lot of us are high performers. We can get up to great speed. We get knocked down, but then it's getting back up, which takes the time and closing that gap. And I also want to share on just like the glitch mindset. Guys, this is the biggest open week, the breakthrough week we've ever done. And it was technically like, you'll never ever know until you fill the bucket up. I used to say this to in my fitness business, like, we won't know the problems that will incur at 250, 300 members. So we might as well just try and push for that and then solve them as they come up. But what we'd like to do as guys is like, I need to know all the problems before they come up. And the weeks before, you know, as you guys were all signing up, we're like, oh, nice, we've got 110 guys signing up for the open week. Oh, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do that? And we were solving it as we were going along. And sometimes, you know, it's gone, you know, so far it's gone pretty slick, and it's been, you know, guys have had a great experience, but we were creating that the week before. We didn't know how to do that beforehand. And I think what you're seeing sharing, like, especially in line with expansive discipline, is just having that entrenched trust between the four of us going, yeah, we got this, we can sort this out. And we literally have done. And also what I've noticed is everyone's performed at a higher level as we've pushed towards that. And we talk a lot about anti-fragility, is like, obstacles make me stronger. And there's actually a podcast I've got a worksheet I can send you for the call when your scene starts talking again. And it's got a link to the podcast on there where we talk about this idea that we talk about a lot in Awaken Man and Heroic Man, of like, obstacles make me stronger. I push myself. I see the obstacle ahead of me. Instead of having the fear and shrinking, I actually front up to the fears in front of me and take the steps that I know I can take. And that's been transformational for a lot of the guys. So 2 concepts there, like getting up quicker and seeing obstacles and stepping up to them. We see that a lot with the men that we work with.
Thank you, Benjamin. Guys, here's the thing again, right? When it comes to this idea, right? So again, right? what I want to do is I want to get fucking really good at catching those turnarounds, right? And I need to become mindful. I need to notice, right? So I need to notice the moment I get disconnected from the best within me, right? And then I immediately need, right, to recover my power and move on. Can I repeat this for you guys? So two things, right? What we want to do is we want to become mindful of the fact that I need to notice the moment, right? I get disconnected from the best within me, right? And then immediately, right, I want to commit to recovering my power and moving on, right? And do you guys see that this act, right, of noticing, right, when I'm disconnected, right, and then committing to recovering, right, it is literally the most fundamentally creative thing, right, that we can do, right? In fact, right, it's literally how we most powerfully align with the expansive force, right, of what Phil starts, right, and again, it might sound a bit woo-woo to you, right, but again, Phil, right, for those of you who don't know who he is, Jonah Hill and Joaquin Phoenix did a documentary on Phil Stutz, right? It's on Netflix. It's one of the most viewed documentary. And so some of Phil's clients, you might have heard of them. Leon Benjamin's boss, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Jay-Z, a couple of other billionaires. So these are fucking people, right, who don't believe in woo-woo bullshit, right? And Phil tells all of his clients, whether they're a fucking multi-billionaire like Jeff Bezos, right, or a Grammy award-winning singer like Jay-Z, or a fucking footballer like Ronaldo, whoever, that he tells all of them that our ability to recover, right, is literally the most fundamentally creative thing that is people we can do, right? In fact, right, it's how we most powerfully align with the expansive force of the universe. Do you guys see that? Because each time, right, I catch myself slipping, right, and turn it around, guess what? I expand into the next best version of myself. Guys, let me repeat this for you guys. Why is this why is this the most expensive force in the universe? It's because each time I catch myself, right, slipping, right, and I turn it around, right, I fucking recover incredibly quickly, right? Guess what? I literally expand, right, into the next best version of myself, right? And guess what? You do it often enough, right, and you do it fast enough, and guess you spiral up, right, into a self-perfecting loop, right? And again, right, what we want to do is we want to imagine, right, that fish hook. Notice yourself, right, the next time you hit a glitch in your life, right, the next time, right, think of yourself as being a fucking fish swimming out in the ocean, right? Be like fucking little Nemo, right? And then you encounter the fucking hook, right? The hook gets you, right? You fucking glitch, like you're like an AI that's gone fucking batshit crazy, right? Then what you do, you make it a game, right? And see just how fast we can catch the turnaround, right? And then we expand, right? Do you see this moment to moment to moment, right? It's a choice in any given moment, right? I ask myself, if my choice in the moment is going to move me backwards into safety and mediocrity, or is it going to move me closer to that best version of myself, right? Do you see this moment to moment to moment, right? I'm constantly, right, making that choice, right? And that literally, right, is what the fuck, right? Expensive discipline is about. Any questions so far, Benjamin?
No, I think you actually had that conversation with me when we did men's business, and like I actually shared on the stage about this idea of just get a bigger fishbowl, and you quite rightly corrected me saying, no, you got to learn that there is no fishbowl, and that was where I was with my thinking, and I was really grateful because like actually I had in North Wales I had this fishbowl, Conway, my gym, and then I kind of just saw Awaken Man as just this slightly bigger fishbowl, and actually it was a really great challenge because I was like, no, Ben, this is exponentially bigger. There's no limits, only the limits to your own thinking, which is going to stop us from getting to where we want to be. And in like bringing it back to this expansive discipline call, I was like, fuck, but that's where the work was for me, and I was really grateful for that. But I was triggered at the time. It's just, I was like, fucking disagree with me. I was like, but no, but it was like, yeah, that was the limitations of my thinking at that point. And you know, guys, I invite you to think about that. Sometimes we just think our local town, like the my town excuse, my country, my connections, and actually what has been quite incredible is watching guys make what I call hockey stick growth, is where they start to see exponential shifts and they see these massive changes. And I think you can, and it's actually really interesting. I was on the way to the airport to come back out to Dubai, and I was with he was a taxi driver, but he worked for Metropolitan Police. He was going to retire, but he wanted to get something to keep him occupied. And he was a millionaire, and he was telling me about his properties and stuff like that. And he said something that was really quite transformational for me. He said, "You'll never achieve the success you can't see." And I was like, "Oh, holy shit!" That's what being in men's groups and being in groups like this has really done for me. It's like, I can see the success that I want to have, and it's helped me model that myself. And I think that's what helped a lot of the men, is they've seen like, oh, right, well, when Luke has an idea, he doesn't sit on it for a week. He goes and takes action. When Jim had a problem with his or struggle with his date night, he doesn't just hold it in and doesn't talk about it. He comes and discloses it, and he moves through it quickly. And so, yeah. And Chris, just to say, like, that's what happens is guys come to us, they have they can see where they want to get to. And we've got someone like Pete Taylor, who's a great architect of these visions. Like, Pete can turn a vision into a plan like that. He lives and breathes that. That's his previous role, like as an architect. So, that's where we have, I feel, the edge on a lot of just woo-woo self-development coaching programs. We've got people that have actually done that, but at such a high level, we eat that stuff for breakfast. Does that make sense? So yeah, thank you for that. Great question, Chris, as well. I'm gonna pass it back over to you, Yassine.
Okay, people. Just quickly again, right? What I want to say again, right? Just reminder that again, we need to get to a place where the worse we feel, right? The more committed I am, right, to my protocol. And honestly, guys, right, getting just this one idea, right? If you take nothing else from your week on this Awaken Man, right? If you take just this one idea, it may be literally the most life-changing thing that you will ever do, right? This idea that the worse I feel, the more committed I am to my protocol. Guys, imagine what if, right? In concluding for today, what if when I feel, right, fucking shit, right, rather than spiral out, right? And let's be honest, right? We all spiral out from time to time, right? And so what, rather than spiral out and do all of the stupid things I tend to do, right? When I'm tired and overwhelmed and all that, right? What if I could get myself, right, to be even more intensely focused, right, on doing what I know is best for me? Guys, imagine this, right? That what if when you feel like fucking shit, right? Rather than spiraling out and doing all the stupid things you tend to do when you're tired and overwhelmed and all of those other shit, right? What if you get yourself to be even more intensely focused on doing what you know is best for you? Guys, honestly, what the fuck would happen? Simple. And again, yes, it's easier said than done, right? But if, again, it's not about fucking becoming a superhero in the next day. It's literally, can ask yourself, can you actually get yourself, right, to do that even 10 or 20 or 30% of the time, right? That's all. Make a small commitment, guys, today, right? That, you know what, I'm going to start paying more attention to the fucking times when I'm spiraling out of control, right? And I'm only going to notice it 10, 20, 30% of the time, right? And then I'm going to spiral up from there. Guys, you know what? Your life will fucking fundamentally and permanently change. I promise you that. Thank you, Benjamin.
Thank you, Yassine. And I actually want to share something that came up for me this morning. I had a shitty night's sleep and got to the gym this morning, and like Lee said to me, like, oh, you're knackered. And I was like, yeah, but I'm here. And my goal is just to protect the habit. And I said that on Heroic Man this morning. I was like, I'm just here to protect the habit. So I was just in the gym. We did some bench. We did some ischemic press. And it was just like, even though the session wasn't world class, it was like the fact that I was protecting the habit, just getting in the gym was the best part of the session for me. And sometimes we just need to, like I said there, protect the habit. Just do what I can to make sure that I keep perpetuating the behavior. And that was, it was good. I still got a little pump on, but at the same time, I'm far more likely to do this the behavior tomorrow as I did today. So guys, just before you shoot, there is an exercise that is really powerful, right? And it's just a quick one. If I had no fear, I would. It's an expansive discipline thinking thought experiment. But you just write that out again and again and again. If I had no fear, I would. If I had no fear, I would. And you just keep, and that is where all of your expansive potential probably lies. And this is something that we do frequently on both Heroic Man, Awaken Man, is to give you these opportunities to think about the things that we've done on the call, go and do the work, whether it's 5 minutes with a coffee or that you actually come on the calls with the Awaken Man and we do these on the call. You experience the breakthroughs by doing the work. So that's going to take you no longer than 2 to 5 minutes. You're going to get some real value. The longer you spend doing that, you're going to have some great insights. Now, I want to just reiterate, tomorrow we have a hot seat coaching session. That is with me. It's super powerful. And what will happen is I will coach our clients. So the Awaken Man group, I will coach them live in front of you. They will be bringing their struggles, their challenges to the conversation. And then what happens, I coach them as if it's just me and them in the room. You can benefit from the coaching. Now, equally, we invite you as a man to write into the chat insights from what is being happening in that coaching. And honestly, the Awaken Men can attest to this, that sometimes you can come on a call, you don't even have to talk, and you go away with literally such a huge shift because you've watched something that really hits home with you personally. And if it doesn't hit home with you personally in the moment, you'll know it'll help you in your future, whether it's a struggle around a relationship, whether it's a business struggle, whether it's a struggle around masculinity, conversation. We cover, like, nothing is off the table. We talk about everything and anything. So there is a level of disclosure on that call. And equally, the Awaken Man group, there's a couple of guys who've already asked for a conversation. So we'll be sharing on that call. So same time, the call does go on for longer because my commitment to the men is that we go until every man has been heard. So the call does last for 90 minutes, but you're going to get huge amounts of value if you're on for the hour. Okay. So just to let you know I literally will hold the space until every single guy, every single week has had their struggle or challenge, coached out of them, and they've got a commitment to move forward. So that's really like integral to me personally and the men on the group. And then Friday, we've got a deep work session where there'll be a session where I'll guide you through some thinking, and there'll be lots of work done on the call as well. Okay. So thank you so much for being here. Again, I'd invite you to share your insights in the group. Pete or Ali, if you could do a post in the Facebook group, that would be really helpful. Just so you could share your insights from the conversation today. Thank you so much for being here. I'm really grateful, and look forward to seeing you guys join the program as well. For those of you guys who are like, right, okay, this is it, I'm going to make the decision, I'm in. Yeah, feel free to get in touch with Pete, myself, or Ali, and then we'll make sure I answer any questions you may have about the offer document you've been given. I'm going to stop the recording. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.